Hi everybody. So today we are going to start the inaugural session of wealth management for working professionals. So this is one of the topic which most of us would be interested. Indeed, everybody on this earth may be interested in accumulating or managing their own wealth. And it is specifically meant for working professionals because wealth indicates many things for many different people, and this is only for those professionals who are very busy with their busy schedules. At the same time, they want to grow their wealth, and many a times they become a victim of so many things like most of the assets they put money into, not always it land up into the kind of returns they expect. So many a times they fail, and hence I thought, let me after say about me, I'll introduce myself at the later stage. Let us straight dive into the subject so that you understand what is it like within this first for 10 or 15 minutes. It is the most crucial of entire of the session because this will introduce you all the players and how what are the players, and how do you have to have strategies to ensure that you are more successful. So to start with, I think everybody could see the screen. Is it visible to all? Okay. So this is a picture. There are two stalwarts. Can you name who they are? Anybody? Yeah, of course. The second one. Any idea? Yeah, yeah. You're absolutely correct. Is Charlie Munger, right? Actually, see this particular thing depicts everything. No. So what does it mean? Like poor are poor because they spend entire of the thing of their money. They don't save or accumulate. Middle class are the people who save their money, whereas the rich are the people who accumulate wealth. What do? They invest. So now, if you want to be rich and wealthy, you have to invest, not save. And anyway, these are the choices left out to you. So you have to decide where do you want to, whether you want to be a poor man or a middle class or a rich class. So once you made the choice, then comes the next. So this is a very simple and very interesting equation, which which depicts why people become wealthy or rich, and why people land up into loans. Normally what we do is we tend to normal people, how do they handle their finances is income minus expenses will be they tightly manage in such a way that they don't save anything, and their concept is nobody knows what is in future, so let us enjoy it today. So these people, since they don't have that foresight or whatsoever, they tend not to accumulate wealth, and finally they are the ones who land up having no wealth except for whatever it is there with them. The next set of people are those people, they have no financial control. What do is they spend beyond their incomes or their capacity, finally land up in debt. Once they land up in debt, they have two options. One is either to default, or number two is to, in the extreme cases, they commit suicide. That is an extreme case. Many a times you find many of your people, like your friends or family members, otherwise whomever you know, and even the big industrialists, they land up into debt, they default, and they don't pay anything. So this is another category. Then those people who are responsible, they generally handle their wealth, their finances in such a way that whatever left out will be their saving. They don't do anything. They will try to minimize their expenditure to ensure that there is some saving. And some disciplined people, what do they do is they define, I have to save this much money, and so accordingly they do their expenses. So these are some smart people, disciplined people, and the most intelligent people. They are the ones who will, what do they do is whatever income they get minus investment, that is what they spend. So my wife and me, of course, I joined a little late, but whereas in my case, very lately, yeah, these days I'm investing at least 1 lakh of my salary into it. The first day itself, I put it into stocks, and the rest I don't. Later on, I'll adjust all my expenditure. So that is how, if you want to be a smart person and if you want to grow rich and wealthy, naturally, this is how you have to do. So these are the five different categories of people, and you have to decide which category you belong to. And there is always a scope to go to the few smart intelligent people. So it's a matter of choice. Of course, it's a very difficult choice, but yes, if you are disciplined, you can definitely do that with whatever means you have. It doesn't mean that to be rich you have to accumulate wealth you have to be rich. Mind it, most of the rich people, they all started from scratch. Nobody have inherited any wealth. So they work toiled very hard. They smartly invested. They have their own business ideas, and then they went ahead. But however, since we are working professionals, we don't have that flexibility to get into businesses or do accumulate or have much more wealth compared to others. So now let us see. This is a very interesting graph. So many a times people, I ignore the two sides, that is 2030, 31 and 46, 47. I don't think it is correct, because it will not be the same. It will be more or less whatever we have it right now. The two pyramids which you see, this is about the distribution of wealth in India. See, rich are the people whose wealth is, more than 30 lakhs. 30 lakh is nothing. It's a peanut compared to whatever. Like, there is a survey conducted by ICE 360 degrees. So what they said is 37 million people are having, in 2016 or 15, 16, they have a wealth of more than 30 lakhs, whereas middle class people, they have a wealth of 5 to 30 lakhs, and aspiring, they are most of our society, almost 73.5 crore population. Destitutes are those who have wealth less than 1.25 lakh. So they constitute around 20.9 crores. Whereas in 2020-21, it is almost more or less the same. A little bit of difference. There is upward migration when it comes to, and also there is a population increase, so they have increased. So whereas 2030-31, this is what is the projections which they have done. It's a highly over optimistic projections, which I don't think it may be the same. You find more or less it will be similar to what it is today. So now, what's on the agenda? Agenda for today is not today. In fact, indeed, this entire series, because this I made around 209 slides. I tried to present twice, both the time more than 4 hours. I couldn't even complete 20% of the slides. So I thought, let me run a series so that every 2 hours, 2 hours in a day, we can have a startup with these kind of sessions. So actually, it is all about religion versus wealth. Then, who are the richest billionaires in India and world? What are their social profile? Why they are rich? Case studies of Jews, Parsis, Jains, and Banias in India, and typical strategies and mistakes by high network individuals in India. Right? What mistakes we do? Why we don't accumulate wealth, unlike other, Western countries? They accumulate wealth. And then we will be discussing a little bit about diamonds in the dust, like how to select those stocks which give you returns of compounded annual returns of over 20 percentage, which is already proven. And those are the companies which are having something called as economic moats, or they have successfully ensured that their wealth, not only their and also their shareholder wealth, has grown more than 20%. So they have successfully done it, and we will be discussing why they did it and what are the reasons behind doing so. So then there is something called as a coffee can portfolio. This is one portfolio which in any case the both are interrelated, diamonds in the dust and coffee can portfolio. Then we will discuss something about mutual funds in India, and what are their benefits, what kind of a thing you have to choose, how you have to choose. And then the seventh one is the traps which you need to avoid. I have put it in the seventh. However, it will come before most of the things. Like before immediately after typical strategies and mistakes made by high net worth individuals in India, we will be having these typical traps which you need to avoid as an investor, because many people will be there who will try to basically misguide you, and many a times you also lack, or due to lack of information knowledge, you tend to commit mistakes and ultimately burn your wealth. Then finally, how to construct a portfolio. This is what is the agenda for today. Indeed, after this, we will continue the series in which we will be discussing even a lot of concepts. This is only for working professionals, but that will be generally for entrepreneurs, whosoever want to do some business, how they have to accumulate wealth, and all that stuff. So now let's go to the next thing. uh, Having said this, okay, I think I have to change my slide, because this slide is version 1. I had a version 2 which was which gives you interesting insights. I'll just skip it and right, I think. Okay, so what are the factors that are responsible for market to go up and down? Anybody? You can see it, but I'll tell you only two factors. What are they? What are those factors which cause market to go up or down? Only two. I can call it as two forces.
Greed and opposite of it.
Okay. Greed, and second is,
The opposite, like
what
people
is
being too
opposite?
conservative. Yeah.
Nay,
Government policies, availability of money.
okay, very good. Greed and the so-called fear. These are sentiments. They are not factors or the forces. Two forces are demand and supply, right? See, in stock market or anywhere, whatever, when you are paying anything, see, it is about how much, what is the demand. The more the demand, the more the price. The lesser the demand, the lesser the price. Lesser the supply, more the demand. More the supply, lesser the demand. So everything is interlinked to demand and supply. These are the only two forces which will determine your entire wealth. Okay, or any markets. It can be a stock market, it can be a real estate market, it can be any other market, bullion market, or any market you take. Everything runs only on these two forces, which are called as invisible hand of the markets. Adam Smith once said about this. So he called these two invisible factors as demand and supply, or the market forces. So these are the things which will determine. And see, when it comes to countries like India, yes, we have a burgeoning population. Then there is a huge amount of investments which are coming up. So all these things taken together, and still we are in the aspiring stage. We are not even, upper middle class, or you can say that higher middle income group. We are still in the lower middle income group. Definitely better than lower income group countries, but we are still lower middle group countries. So after this, I think the rest of the things are all, only you can say, enabling factors for these two major factors. It can be market indicators, confidence levels, wars or conflicts, concerns over inflation, deflation, government policies, technological changes, disasters, everything. All these things are all, though Investopedia has given this, but I call that they are all enabling factors for these two major forces, demand and supply. So now you have known two factors and two sentiments, or you can say the greed and fear. And this is the villain. What is that villain? Any guess? You are just seeing some spikes and some numbers on x and y axis. Can anyone make a guess?
Looks like every time recession is there, the graph is higher up.
Okay, it is recession. Very good. Any other guesses?
Time.
Time. Okay, very good. Nice. Time. But why there are spikes?
Maybe the stock market crashed at that
The
time.
stock market crash, I think you have to see dips, right? Negative. You nowhere you see it negative. You are
Yeah,
seeing
because
only
it's
positive.
titled villain. I thought the higher it is, the worst it is.
No, that's fine. Like, see, this is the interesting thing. Now there will be a next question. Very interesting. You need to answer that also. Any other guesses? I want more smart people, smart
Change of
answers.
change of
What?
governments.
Change of governments. Okay. Any other people? I think everybody should try their, you know, luck. Indu. Yeah. Venkat.
Maybe the market is at peaks and the stocks might be overvalued or something like that.
Market peaks, overvaluation. Very good. Anybody else?
Yes.
Inflation.
Inflation. Yes, you are bang on. So the villain is inflation. It is the inflation which is making whatever your wealth to deplete in value. See, 100 rupees today will not be the same tomorrow. The moment inflation is there, they are killing your whatever the wealth is. So they reduce your wealth. Say, when I started my job, my salary was around 12,000 rupees. Today I am getting 2,40,000 rupees. Okay. Did my savings or my purchasing capacity increase by 20 times?
Yes.
20 times. 20 times
No,
more than what I got
No.
20 years ago,
no,
23 years ago.
no.
No. Our purchasing power got reduced drastically, right? Maybe two or three times more than what it was in the past. But what ate up all your whatever the wealth or incomes you are getting? It is the inflation. So inflation is a villain. Then the next comes is, who is the hero? Who is the hero?
RBI or government?
RBI or government? Very good. Anybody else?
The GDP growth rate.
GDP growth rate. Excellent. Any other? Come on, Ramana, Shivaram, Vinod. Anybody else? Should I tell you?
Yes.
Yes.
You. You are the hero.
Okay.
Villain is inflation. You are the hero. The entire of the wealth management is done by you. It's not by government or markets or anything else.
Growth rate in
Pardon
society.
me? Pardon me? Can you be clear? It, Vinod. Okay. Okay. So you know the villain, you know the hero,
Clear,
you know the
clear.
forces, you know the sentiments. So it's all about this. So the agenda is this. Already we have discussed about it. About me, I am a 2000 batch IRAS, currently working as FNC construction in Southeastern Railway. I'm a native of Vizag. My qualifications, initially I started only being a graduate, getting into civil services. I did BSc from Andhra University, passed out in 98. Then later, once I got into it, then I thought after say 5 6 years of you know a service, I thought of quitting the service. So I applied for 8 universities, out of which I got selected in 5 universities. I applied only for one year MBA course in only in UK. One from Australia, one from Singapore, and I got five out of it, which includes Melbourne Business School, then your Lancaster Schools, University Management Studies, Edinburgh University, University of Bath, and Cranfield. So finally, this is in the year 2006. So I extended it for 1 year, and again I extended for one more year. So in between, there were two incidents which has happened. One is that marrying my wife, then my better half. Then the second is sixth pay commission. So sixth pay commission, along with it, there was something called as a global meltdown. So three events have finally made me to continue with the service. Then once I have decided not to go for further for education, then I decided what next, I should do something else. So I kept on. I initially started enrolling myself into ICMAI, or previously it was called as ICWI. Then in Sambalpur, I was there at Sambalpur. Later I shifted to Bhubaneswar, so I completed ICWI. Later I did immediately after ICWI, I did MA History. So MA History from IGNOU. Then I did a company secretary professional. Later MA Psychology, MA Economics, MA Development Studies. Recently in 2022 I finished it. Then 23, sorry, not 22, 23. I did a BA in Finance, PG Diploma in Urban Planning and Development. Then I did many more courses like certificate courses from Harvard, MIT, University of London Sustainable Development Academy. And also in 2023, where I have three or four of my friends right now in this group, I did a Chief Finance Officer's course from IIM Calcutta. So that gave me a lot of insights into the world of finance. So I thought once this knowledge is accumulated, it is better to share and get wealthier, and also others to get into the wealth. So the positions which I held is, initially I started my career in NF Railway Guwahati as assistant financial advisor. Later I became EDP manager. Then I became a deputy FNCO in Guwahati. Later I shifted to East Coast. Initially in Bhubaneswar as deputy FNCO. Later as senior DFM Sambalpur. Then I came back to Bhubaneswar as deputy FNCO construction. Then later landed up in Vizag in 2011 as Deputy FNCO Construction Vizag, then as Senior DFM Vizag. Later I was posted into Railway Board as a director. Then from there I went to Ministry of Finance, Deepam, where I interacted almost with the 50 to 60 CMDs, CFOs, or director finance of companies, CPSE companies like oil giants like ONGC, then your IOCL, BPCL, and I dealt with three companies disinvestment, BPCL. Then there is something called a Central Electronics Limited and Hindustan Prefab. Then later, even including Hudco and NBCC, those are the two companies. They all that disinvestments also I have handled. So later, even in the within that tenure itself, I was the policy director policy of Deepam, where RINL's disinvestment also, one of the item which through my hands it went through, and we gave around 5 year what do you call vision plan for the government of India. What are the companies we gave? Somewhere around 70 companies to disinvest, but only one has got disinvested. So later, I on promotion I came as FNCO, initially as general in Southeastern, later into workshop and stores, now into construction. This is about me. Then now coming to the subject, we just had an introduction. So in the subject, you need to know what is wealth. See, everybody wants to accumulate wealth, but what is wealth? We need to know. So, what is that? Anybody who can give better definitions apart from what is given in this?
What
Anand?
makes you feel fulfilled and happy?
Yeah.
Yes. Very
Happiness,
true.
dreams, then
For me,
Social
health
identity.
is most
Having,
important.
having resources to take care of your needs, to take care of your comforts.
excellent. Yes, of course. Then anything else?
So
Anybody
leading a
else?
qualitative life, leading a qualitative life.
Right. Leading a qualitative life is basically through wealth, right? That is an
Yes,
outcome
yes.
of wealth,
Yeah, yeah.
but not wealth per se. Per
Okay.
se, it is different. Anybody else? Ramna, Praveen, Shivram. Okay. So wealth is basically an
Something which gives
abundance.
social.
Pardon? Yeah. Yes, Indu.
No, please continue.
Yeah, you say you.
I was telling something which gives a social identity and social security.
That is an outcome of wealth.
Well,
So my daughter also has joined. Say hi to Kuti. Mama is also there. Say hi to Mama.
baby, no light here, Nana. Mama can't see you.
Hey, where is that? Where are you? Why? No, no. Now you see. Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hello,
Hi,
Putin.
Kuti.
Say hi.
Hello,
Hi. Hi, everybody. How are you?
Hello. Hello,
nice
everybody.
meeting you.
Fine.
Hi, Putin.
Okay. So, Kuti also will be. Now, my brother in law also has joined. Hi, Anil.
Hi Suresh. Hi.
So, you are in the mid
I
of the
mean,
session. You have missed the introduction part. You haven't.
actually, I was driving. Now also I'm driving. That's why. Anyway, continue, please.
Yeah, actually, you haven't heard what are those forces, factors, then your hero and villain. Anyway, that you can I think you can discuss with Indu to know more about it.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So see, wealth is basically anything in plenty, right? Valuable possessions. It may be money or it may be. Why do we accumulate? Is or as you all said, it is to fulfill your needs, dreams, and also to have a qualitative life. So This wealth gives you, and they bring you into something called as a different, class, wealthy class. And for wealthy class, anything can be, they can get anything, whatever they want. So now comes is, what is, you have gone through the definition of wealth, and what is management? Any idea? Management. What is management, guys?
How you grow your wealth while hedging the risks, and that's how you
Okay,
manage your wealth.
okay.
How
How
you
you
handle
grow
your
your,
wealth?
how you
Handle your wealth.
handle your wealth. Okay, very good. Anybody else? What is management? Simple definition of management.
Proper handling of the
Organizing your
resources
resources in
available.
a better manner.
Pardon me?
Organizing your resources in a better manner.
Okay, very good. Next, Venkat.
Even I
Venkatram.
was saying the similar thing, proper handling of the resources which we have.
Okay, proper handling of resources. Anybody else?
Income and expenditure management.
Income expenditure management. Any other definition? Shivaram. Shivaram.
Oh, I got disconnected. I just started because of power
Yeah.
cut. My
What what is
Wi-Fi got
management?
disconnected.
What is management?
Management, maybe getting things done,
Absolutely,
or
you're bang on. Simple.
yeah, yeah.
Getting things done is management. It's a simplest way. How you manage means how you get those things done. Okay. Through with the use of resources. Resources can be financial, material, or manpower. So all these resources combined together, you try to organize and get your work done, right? And what is wealth management? It is basically, there are, set of people who are professionals. They are called as wealth management advisors. They are the guys who will advise you how to, take care of your financial needs. It also includes not only just your earnings, also liabilities. They will ensure that liabilities, earnings, and the wealth is taken care of. So they will suggest you how to grow your wealth, how to get rid of the liabilities in a better way. So since these are available only for the hyper rich, there is something called portfolio management services. They are offered as per RBI guidelines only to those people who have wealth of more than 50 lakhs. Minimum is you should have 50 lakh cash with you. Without that, they will not offer you any advisory services. So that is the reason why rich becomes richer, poor becomes poorer, middle class become middle class or poor, right? So this is where, that is the reason why majority of the middle class or lower middle class or the lower class fail to become riches. They don't have these kind of professional advisors to manage their wealth. And this, who will be your wealth manager? Anybody? Who will be your wealth manager or wealth management advisor?
At a first level, us,
Pardon me?
if you want, at a first level, ourselves, but
Okay, first
but
level is
but
yourself. Very good.
yeah, then we need to have expert advisors if you
Expert
want to even
advisors.
grow
Okay,
even more.
only after you get 50 lakh rupees, right?
That's right. When you need, when you have more to manage.
So, so actually, see, this entire session is to make you as a wealth manager for yourself. Okay. So whatever the wealth managers do, you can do even better than that. Not that the wealth managers are so great or they do great. Many a times, most of the wealth managers, they fail to do what they are good at. Right. So if you know all the pitfalls, whatever the problems within this entire of the system, then you tend to be a better wealth manager and manage your own wealth. With this, I think can we break for 10 minutes? Say we'll again meet at 9 o'clock, or should we continue?
Yeah, sure.
Because as I said, I just 50 minutes are over, but
I
first
feel
50
we can
minutes.
continue.
So let me see how many people are with it. Anybody want to go for loo or do some discussion with their family members or some urgent things? So I think, is that fine or should we continue?
Yes, we continue.
We can continue, I think.
We can
We can
continue.
continue, right?
Yes.
Okay. So two voices. Anybody know? Nays? Any nays? Okay, I assume that all are eyes. So next, let's go to the next slide. So why wealth? Why wealth? I think you all have already said it, right?
Hmm.
See, it is the wealth or the money or the assets which are needed to keep yourself leading a very comfortable life. One. And the wealth gives you a lot of security. The more the money, the more the wealth you get, the more security you get. The lesser that you always have that false of sense of insecurity. Second, wealth brings you recognition. Nobody recognizes any poor person. If you are rich and wealthy, naturally everybody, you know, love to be associated with. Even those people who are otherwise, when you are poor, who never used to care, they too will come and, be after you. Then money also ensures that whatever you dream of, that gets fulfilled, and ensure that your family and your social status or whatever is being preserved. So, and many a times, education influence, political influence also. Many a times you find these days majority of the politicians, they're all wealthy and rich, right? And you get more opportunities within your own, either educationally, occupationally, or otherwise. So that is the reason why you need wealth, and we all have to. There is nothing wrong, in accumulation of wealth or thinking about wealth. Then comes is this religion and religiosity versus wealth. So before that, we need to understand what the religion is. So anybody who would like to say what is religion? Anyone? A definition of religion. No one would like to say anything.
It's faith and belief in a particular ideas.
Faith and belief in ideas or something else. Ideas will be ideology, right?
Practices.
But ideology is different from religion. Of
Belief of
course.
worship.
Yes, it's all about worship. Worship of some supernatural force that is trying to control your destiny, which we call it as God, right? God is named in different forms and different ways, and because we yes,
Practices.
we have a different
Prac-
gods,
prac-
practices, and beliefs.
Practices.
Exactly.
Practices and ideas. Ideology.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
ultimately, this
Worship.
guides you. You know why religion is very important is religion has a very powerful influence on your ideas regarding wealth. So that is the reason why I just took it. It's a very interesting thing. Many of us may not know, but yes, it's a fact. And what is religiosity? Being religious does not mean that you are, you do not become a liberal, right? Orthodoxy or religiosity is a strong belief about feelings about religion. No, and these are the people who have so strong religiosity. They tend to comply to those beliefs and those ideas and ideology of that particular religion, and that will have a very strong influence on us, that through something called as social conditioning. Conditioning means the way you are being molded. Social conditioning is the society molds your personality, your thought, your entire cognitive abilities, right? And always, if you see the history of the world, the 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 more people were more religious, they were more poor. The moment people have challenged the religion, it started with Christianity, the so-called Protestant religions, starting with Martin Luther. Martin Luther is the person who has challenged the authority of Pope, and he initially wanted to reform that religion. He met Pope, and then Pope said, "You know, who are you to tell us? We are the boss." So he was about to be arrested, and then he escaped from there, went into Germany from where he belongs to. So those Germanic countries, when Pope wanted to, arrest him and put him to jail, that started something called as religious wars, which culminated with Treaty of Westphalia in 1648. And that is the day in which the Pope, or the so-called religious leaders, are relegated to only ecclesiastical domain, or something related to spirituality, and religion. They said, okay, and this was done by northern European countries like England, Germany, Denmark, Netherlands, all these countries, and Norwegian countries. So if you see the development also, you find that Protestant Christian countries have grown more wealthier compared to other Orthodox countries. And the most Orthodox Christians are Eastern Europeans. See, they are very poor as India, right? Why? Because of this religious ideology. The more religious, because they are more Orthodox, they became more poorer. Now, there is something called as a concept of externals and internals, which in management generally tend to teach you. What is that concept all about? Anybody? I think there are many people who did MBAs. Anyone? Okay. So the concept of internals and externals are basically, it is like you believing your own internal factors, like you believe in yourself. The more you believe, you will be more successful. Whereas externals, they believe in external forces like God, like fate, and all that stuff. The more you tend to be external, you tend to be guided by some other forces, and that is the area where people, the smart people, tend to manipulate your entire fate. The more you believe in yourself, there is high chances that you will be very successful. So that internals are those people who are less religious compared to the externals. So now this is a very interesting scatter plot. If you just see, there was a study conducted in somewhere around 2015 by I think I don't remember, it's a very well-known publisher, like some news agency. They have scattered, they put all the countries which are into parameters. One is the per capita income on the x-axis, and the y-axis is all about religiosity. See, very surprisingly, all the countries which are highly religious are the poorest. If you see towards your left bottom half, you find those countries are less religious and they are more richer. So it is proven scientifically that, in any case, as we have already discussed that concept, So it's already proven that countries which are more liberal tend to be more richer compared to the countries which are highly religious. So why I'm saying is, yes, this will give you, a kind of a understanding regarding wealth accumulation and the religion, which will try to influence your ideas about wealth. So there was a research which is conducted by Lisa A. Keister from Ohio University. She gave a lot of theses like what religion and wealth. Basically, her entire of research is related to USA, but still these conclusions can be it can be applicable to all the religions throughout the world. So what does it say? Family level religious affiliation and participation will shape your saving and investment behaviors, right? If you say, see, we always get influenced that whatever we always say, especially in India, we say that the best thing is you donate something to the poor or something needy or somebody. We tend to believe in that. Whereas the religions like Jews in the synagogues, they teach their kids that they say that yes, you if I give you 100 rupees, you have to put 10% to tithe. Tithe is nothing but or teeth. Some people call it as teeth. Teeth is basically it's about religion. 10% towards your religion, 10% towards your calamities like emergencies. You have to put 10 percentage of your wealth into it, so that in case of any exigency or calamity or emergencies, you can take that money and get your whatever the problem solved. Then there are 20% is over. They say another 20 percentage you put into investment. That investment can be into business, can be into any other thing, right? Another 10 percentage they suggest that you have to put into charity. Then the rest 50%, this is the 50 percentage which you have to use it for your expenses. So 50 percentage of their wealth they tend to accumulate for various other purposes apart from their daily expenses. That is the reason why you find most of the rich people in the world are Jews. And you name anybody, all the rich people, majority you find them to be Jew or having some lineage with Jews. And the other area, other religion where it is you find the most of the rich people are Protestants, the so-called liberal Protestants, not the conservative Protestants, right? So then a religion is also likely to affect your wealth ownership directly because it shapes values and priorities. It sets the value, it sets the priorities, what is needed. Many a times we keep hearing, what will you take away if you why you want to be so rich? What will you eat? You just need only two rotis or a morsel of rice or something like that. But ultimately, because of that, you even though you are otherwise capable, you tend not to do it. See why Russia, despite having so much of resources, so much of intellectual capital, why it could not be successful? Because of Russian Orthodoxy. Orthodox Christianity, they do not teach the virtues or values as done by Jews or even the so-called Protestants. Because of this, they are highly influenced by these, the teachings of the church. And finally, they are not, though they are very, otherwise very, yeah, they are not very highly successful when it comes to accumulation of wealth. And whosoever oligarchs in US, in Russia, I just made an analysis. I found that almost everybody is a Jew except one or two. So why it is? This is the reason. Then comes is wealth ownership is highest among Jews in any case and lowest among conservative Protestants, right? And with mainland Protestants and Catholics in the middle of the distribution. This is what her thesis is. And she also says that relatively high propensity among Jews to invest in financial assets rather than real assets such as housing, and relatively low educational attainment among conservative Protestants, right? So this is the reason why Jews are into financial asset use. They that for that there is a separate study which is conducted by one Jew and the other is Italian professor. Both are economists, and that in any case I'll discuss a little later after this slide is over. So how religion influences your wealth creation? People who are raised in religion where fertility is low are going to accumulate more wealth over their lives. Why? Why fertility? The more the fertility, poorer the people, lesser the fertility, richer the people. Why is it so? Anybody? Simple.
Yeah,
Nothing.
more people to take care of, probably.
Pardon me?
More
More
people to take
expenses,
care of.
less savings.
Yeah, more
Yes.
expenses.
Yes. Very true.
Yeah.
Then,
The
Shivaram, you are
effort you
saying
spend
something?
on them, the effort you put, like to
Yeah.
make them
Yeah, like for
educated,
example,
the
if
time you spend.
simple example is if there is only one or two kids, you can send them to the best of the schools and colleges, and if there are 5 10 kids, you may have to send them to government school. But I'm not saying that government schools are bad or private schools are good, but at the end of the day, the quality and the pedigree which comes from government schools and the best of the schools. So maybe
Absolutely.
the maybe one or
Absolutely.
two kids, they have a very high chances of brightest careers against 10 against people family who has 10 kids who has gone to government schools
But there
or
are
no.
cases where, see, my one of my junior colleague, he they were, I think five or six, four brothers, two sisters, something like that. But all are very well settled.
No, that again, that's what I'm saying. That again, it depends, but that's what. So, uh, being success rate of a person or probability of a person being success from a government school, if you compare with the probability of a person being successful from a private or international school, will be there will be a huge difference. Of course,
Even me and my wife, we both are from government set government schools and colleges only.
yeah, okay.
Even though they are private, we went to some private schools, but again, they are all not so such something like very high flying or something best of the uh,
No,
best in
that
that
is one
particular area.
that is one of the factors, and the other factors, as I told, is high expenses, low savings, and concentration of the parents. Maybe you are not 10 or 15. You are not one among 10 or 15 kids, right? Even if you're in a government school, your parents would have taken care of you. Maybe you are one or two kids. If the same happens with the 5 kids, where the family has 5 kids, 8 kids, 10 kids,
Right,
the parents may not be able to take care of them. They just might have
right.
gone to government school, but what after the schooling, what of there is no mentoring, there is no monitoring and all these things, right?
Absolutely,
True.
So
absolutely. Anybody else?
Very true.
Anybody else? I'll just put it in few words. Whatever resources you will be having will be very thinly spread across all the people, and many a times it's like feeding one kid rather than feeding 10 kids. So all people will be everybody will be half starved if the means and the resources are not enough. Say a person, say if you inherit 100 acres of land, right? You have 5 kids, so it will be distributed among 5 equally, right? 20 acres, and assume that they also have similar amount of children, right? Ultimately they also would be finally landing up, say again they have 5 kids each. That generation will have 4 acres each, then the next generation point 0.8, and many a times it may not be economical for these people to get adequate care, health, and also wealth. So finally, the family suffers. And many a times they may not break something called as vicious circle of poverty. So they end up perpetually into poverty because they are poor. They don't have resources to invest. Since there is low investment into health or wealth or education, finally they land up getting lower education or lower level of skills. Lower level of skills will lead to getting either underemployed, unemployed, or inadequately employed with inadequate amount of wealth or incomes. Finally that will translate to low level of poverty. Again it will go into the same vicious circle, so the cycle continues. So, in order to break the cycle, somewhere you need to come out of the so-called vicious circle. For that, something is called as in physics, it is called as escape velocity. You need to have escape velocity to get away from the so-called powerful forces, which is called as poverty or the so-called middle class. You have to think big. For that, the most essential thing is, in any case, finances. If you don't have money or wealth, you cannot escape from the so called drudgery of poverty. And again, you may be very wealthy, like Anil Ambani, you may come on roads, right? So he did so many mistakes. So the other side of the story is also true. It doesn't take much time for a rich person to become poor if you poorly manage your wealth. So wealth management is very, very essential and very important. Then anyway, this is all a theory in any case, which you can understand it. Then comes is religion and richness. A very excellent, it's a report given by CNBC in 2015. What they did is they plotted, they tried to get information related to all the rich people, in the world. And then finally what they did is, whosoever high net worth individuals are those people who are having 1 million plus wealth. So they have made a careful study. Finally they found out, they come up with a particular conclusion, right? Christians having 31 percentage of world population, they have 56.2 percentage of high net worth individuals, whereas Muslims with 24.9% population, they have 6.5 percentage rich people, whereas Hindus 15.2 percentage, 3.9 percentage are only 3.9 percentage of global high net worth individuals are Hindus. When it comes to Jews, their population is hardly 0.2 percentage, whereas high net worth individuals are 1.7. Whereas unaffiliated, it can be any other religion, Buddhism, Taoism, Shinto, all those things, all those Southeast Asian countries, Africa, and all that, where they are not related to either of these four religions, they constitute 28.7 percentage of the population. They have almost 31.7 percentage representation. So I made the rest of the analysis is my analysis. I put it as a richness index. What I did is percentage of high net worth individuals divided by population, percentage, both percentages. If you take it, it is 1.81 factor when it comes to Christians, and Muslims and Hindus are more or less, almost at the same level, whereas Hindus are the poorest of all. The most poorest is, though we say all that stuff, 0.25% factor is that of Hindus, whereas Jews it is 8.5, unaffiliated 1.1 percentage. And if you see the percentage control of wealth, one is individuals, the second is how much wealth is controlled by these individuals. When it comes to Christians, it is 55 percentage, Muslims 5.6, when it comes to Hindus 3.3, and Jews 1.1, unaffiliated 34.8 percentage. If you see the proportions, Muslims and Hindus, though percentage of high net worth individuals are a little on a higher side, whereas the control over wealth is lesser. That means the numbers are more, but the amount of wealth they control is lesser. So I made it as a wealth index, that is again 1.77 in case of Christians, then 0.225 in case of Muslims, and 0.2115 in case of Hindus. And Jews it is 5.5, and then unaffiliated 1.21. Unaffiliated are performing a little better compared to others, compared to their richness ratio. So finally the conclusion is that not that these entire communities are homogeneous, they are highly heterogeneous. There is high amount of disparities within that, their own religious affiliations. So this is a very crude kind of a thing, but yes, it gives you an interesting insight into who the wealthy are in this world. Next, when it comes to 100 top rich in our country, this is the list I made. It is a very difficult thing, because many a times you don't come to know what is their caste profile or religious profile. Finally, I dig deeper and I made a list of 100 billionaires in India, and you will be very surprised. In the north, it is highly skewed. Entire north, only that business communities, be it Baniya, Vanik, Maheshwari, Sindhi Baniyas, Khatris, Jains, they accumulate huge amount of almost 57 percentage of wealth is in that community, only one community in entire north. When it comes to Parsi, I don't put them into north, because they are basically around Gujarat and Maharashtra, and they have a lineage, different lineage. They are Parsi, they are basically Iranians who got migrated to India. Now when it comes to, very interestingly, you don't find any rich person from the so-called East India, and also very very interestingly, Marathis are also not there, Maharashtrians. So in south is a very more, you can say, well distributed. Majority of wealth is concentrated in all the Brahmins who are 12. They are all South Indian Brahmins. North, very one or two are there. I don't think even one is there. So Brahmins constitute a bigger chunk. Then Nadars, Lohanas were basically Gujarati based Rajputs. They are Gujarati based Rajputs. There is no Rajput in this. Anyway, by the way. Then comes is Kama in from Andhra Pradesh. Then Jat from there is one more, Reddy. Reddy is also there. Four. Jat, one from Jat in North India. Chettiars one, Vellalar two. Out of one Vellalar, this Kalanidhi Maran's mother is again a Iyer Brahman. So Christians, those three Christians are all again Syrian Orthodox Christians of Kerala. And Patidars means Patels from Gujarat. One Nair, one Lingayat. So the interesting fact among Muslims is, out of 6 Muslims, 3 are from Kerala Muslims who are Maplas. Then rest of the 3, those 3 guys, one is having he is born in his mother is a Jew, father is a Muslim, and he is born in Poland. The other one is a Baniya converted Muslim. He is who is that guy? Ajim Premji. And the third person is basically Neswadia. They are basically Parsi come Muslims. So if you see exactly in north, the Muslim either they are not they are basically a cross kind of a Muslim, like either a Jewish lineage or the Parsi lineage or a Baniya lineage. To be very specific, it is again a merchant communities. So it is only the south which have a equitable distribution of wealth. This is about social composition, and I took certain percentages of Indian population. And now, who owns companies? See, the entire wealth of our nation is into the hands of companies. Companies generate wealth, they create, and whosoever are the promoters, they become the richest. If you see all those 100 billionaires, they're all into companies, right? Nobody is into any other profession other than owning a company. So if you see how much of wealth is controlled by Indian companies, wealth is controlled. 45.13 percentage are private promoters. Then comes is foreign institutional investors. They own around 20.15 percentage of the wealth. So this 20 percentage do not belong to our wealth, right? And then 7.75 percentage is held by mutual funds, which you may have a little slice of it. Then there is 7.42 percentage retail investors. If you tend to invest into stocks, yes, you may have around 7.42 percentage, that in that particular slice. And then government of India owns 5.48 percentage of these companies. Then insurers like insurance agencies like LIC, GIC, all those. They, eh? Cut. Okay, then LIC have around 3.83 percentage, right? Then around 3.16 percentage others, and 2.09 percentage held by other high network individuals. This is based on the source is NSE and 5paisa.com. So it gives you an insight who the rich are, right? And the countryside. This is again a very interesting, insights. You need not be a city bred, or you need not be from a big city to become rich. There are 178 tycoons who have wealth more than 1000 crores, and I made only a case study of Andhra Pradesh being from that place. Vizag has 3, Bhimavaram has 1, Vijayawada has 1, and Tirupati has 1. So all these 4, out of the so-called 6 people, except 1, rest all belong to one community. Can you name anybody? Maybe more majority are from Andhra. So
Probably Kama.
absolutely correct. It's Kama. And what the other community, that one community which is having 1000 crore plus is which community? Any idea? That is from
Reddy
Bhimavaram.
probably.
Bhimavaram.
Yes,
Kshatriya.
Rajputs, Rajulu,
Huh?
Rajputs.
Rajlu,
I
Rajlu,
mean,
Kshatriyas.
Rajulu are
Yes,
Raja
you are right.
community.
You are right.
Kshatriya.
Kshatriya. Right? So I didn't do similar exercise with other other states in India. Maybe that is work in progress. Probably I may come out at the later stage, and you will be surprised, very much surprised, that most of this is concentrated in Kerala. If you see Kerala, so many places like Kannur, your then Kottayam, Thiruvananthapuram, Ernakulam, Thrissur, Kozhikode, and all these places. There are so many places where there are a lot of wealthy people where the wealth is accumulated. The other area is of course Gujarat. These are the two states, and Rajasthan also has its own share. So this is in nutshell about it. I didn't delve into deeper into the entire of the thing because there is a huge list which is work in progress. I maybe in some time to come I'll come out with entire analysis, that entire caste profile and all. Who are those rich people? And now comes is case study of billionaires in India. In the world. See, if you see, out of 2,668 billionaires globally, roughly 10 percentage of the billionaires are Jews. Okay, though their population is hardly 0.2 percentage of the world's population, they are roughly 10 percentage, which is huge by any numbers, right? There is a link which I can show you if you are interested. But anyway, the topic is not that who the rich billionaires are. You name anything, all the tech companies are all, are all Jewish. You want to see? Anybody is interested, or should we go?
Let's move ahead.
Pardon me.
Yeah, let's move ahead with that.
Okay. So actually, see,
Yes,
it is.
if you can please just show and just
We can have a quick look.
yes, quick. You can say tell something, please.
Could you see? Okay, it's just now it's coming. This is 2022 figure to the end of 2022. Larry Ellison, Oracle, Larry Page, Google, Sergey Brin, Google, Steve Ballmer, Microsoft, Michael Bloomberg, Michael Dell, Mark Zuckerberg, Len Blavatnik, UK. Okay, he's a UK-based billionaire. Then Alan Wertheimer, France. Then your Gerard Wertheimer brothers. Then Stephen Schwarzman, he is from US. So Jeff Yass, Mariam Edelson, Jim Simons, Leonid Mikhelsen, Russian.
Yeah, we can move ahead. We can move ahead. That should be fine.
You can, yeah, you can get
Yeah.
it. Even
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you see all those, all the billionaires, they're all into, most of them into technology and resources, finance, all that stuff. Very few you find them into real estate kind of a thing. Okay, now I'm moving to our PPT, right? So again, you come across a particular propaganda that Jews are not farmers because their ancestors were prohibited from owning land in Middle Ages. They became money lenders, bankers, financiers. During medieval period, Christians were banned them from money lending at interest. So Jews fulfilled that particular role. Jews widely dispersed across the world and declined in numbers as a result of endless massacres. This is what the conspiracy theory which goes on. But can you see this? Hello? Could you see
Yeah, I
this?
can see that. Yeah.
You could see it, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So this is what is the conspiracy theory which usually we come across, but which is totally incorrect. This particular propaganda was busted by one Jewish economist and an Italian economist. They did a 12 years study, right? This they put it in a book called as The Chosen Few: How Education Shaped Jewish History. Between 70 AD to 1492, those two people are this lady Marcella Botticini. She's an Italian economics professor. She, along with Zvi Epstein, he's a Israeli Jew. These two people have put this thesis, for which they both were awarded as highest award by the Jews. Actual reason is quite interesting, which you can find similarity with India also. No offenses to anybody. So there was a war between Romans and Jews. Okay, in around 1st century AD. During that war, these Jews used to go into their synagogues or their temples, and from there they used to wage a lot of war. So it is basically nothing to do with religion. It is more to do with politics. Jewish Jewish territory of Israel or whatever, that entire today's Palestine, actually it is not called Israel except in those, that used to be called as a Palestine during that era. So that area basically mostly Jewish and other communities. What these people did is they used to resort to guerrilla warfare. So they used to create a lot of nuisance to the Romans, who are the rulers over that land. So there was a war between the first century AD, where that I think it went for 10 or 20 years. Finally, Romans have destroyed the temple of Jerusalem. That was a time when the power got shifted from high priests to rabbis. Rabbis, I think you know, they're all, you know, every Jewish community has a one religious leader called as rabbi. So what they used to preach is they used to tell they have put certain code. In that code, it they made it compulsory for every kid to get primary education through schools or synagogues. Their, you know, synagogues, like our madrasas or even this Gurukul Patashalas. So it became a compulsory thing for every Jewish kid to go into a synagogue, and that only could be afforded by the so-called hyper rich people. Poor could not afford. So because it is being insisted very stringently, many of these people, they have converted to those religions which are more liberal, more, you know, they are not so stringent. So they have somehow, thus all the agriculturists, they shifted to other religions. So those people who are rich among the Jews, they send their kids to synagogues. Synagogues is where they became literate. They were taught about the financial management, which I told in the past, like few minutes back. I told about that financial management. So they used to teach that. Once they learned literature, writing and reading, it became very easy for them to gain more skills in other professions, like usury. Usury means something to do with money lending, finance, crafts, and trade. So they used to monopolize it, and since it is you know, they are literate. They could write, they could send codes, they could publish book. So that entire knowledge could be transferred to the later generations through something what they have written. So which is not there with other religions or other people who are illiterate. So this has made them to be ahead of others. And during Muslim rule under Umayyads and Abbasids, there was a lot of migration by these people, these Jews. They went into those Muslim, you know, territories, especially Yemen, Syria, Egypt, Baghdad, Byzantine Empire later on. So, and wherever these Muslim rulers were there, initially it was Baghdad. Baghdad used to be the hub of everything, you know, entire Umayyads and Abbasids. Their capital was Baghdad. That is the area where they have accumulated a lot of wealth, and slowly they started migrating into other areas. And you know, see, in order to acquire more skills and do business, you cannot be wedded to land. They cannot be a farmers. So what they did is, because of this pursuit to seek more opportunities, or especially for accumulation of wealth, these people have migrated towards other professions. They have incentive. It has incentivized Jews to abandon agriculture and to go to other professions. From there, they have migrated to every other countries in the world, like Europe, Northern Africa, all those areas, even including India and also China. They have migrated and they have set up something called as a business empire, spread across the entire globe. So that led to capital accumulation. And when, as I said in the past, when there was this so-called religious war culminating with the Treaty of Westphalia, till after, once that has set in, that led to formation of something called as age of mercantilism and colonialism. So those, that has led to opening of mind from the control of the religion. So these people, because of adventurism, spirit of the so-called scientific spirit, they have ventured into so many areas which otherwise were prohibited. So initially, when scientists like Galileo Copernicus propounded something which is against something called as, the so-called the teachings of church, they were being jailed, they were being killed, and then after this era, after this Treaty of Westphalia, where the northern, Europe, especially Germany, England, France, some part of France, then your Belgium, Netherlands, Denmark, and Scandinavian countries, they have encouraged people with something called as reasoning, logic, and science. So that led to series of inventions and innovations leading to industrial revolution. Once the industrial revolution came in, they were having ideas, but they were not having the finances. So who funded them? It is the Jews. Because they have funded these innovators, they also have, because of the accumulation, the knowledge and all, these Jews also have similarly ventured into education, academics and research. That is the reason why you find 20% to 25% of Nobel Prize winners are Jews. So this is the actual story, and rest all whatever you hear is like, the propaganda which is being ventured out in a country like India. Everywhere, these kind of propaganda keeps on happening, but the actual reason is this. So now comes is, what are those common characteristics of rich people? Which, see, if you want to be a rich, you have to behave like rich. You cannot, and poor man will never teach you becoming rich. Poor man will teach you to become more poor. Middle class will make you to become more, middle class. So, in order to be rich, you have to be with the rich, and you have to think like rich. If not being with the rich, you have to think like rich. What are those characters which you find common in rich people? Number one is, they emphasize on literature and education. So, if you see any rich, find this. And for your information, I send my kid into one school called as La Martiniere, and my girl also into La Martiniere school. It is said to be the best school in Calcutta and one of the best in the country. And I'm very surprised to see the very skewed representation. Almost 80 to 90 percentage of the kids are from Bania background, Marwadis, Sindhi, Gujaratis, and very few are native Bengalis. My son is the only South Indian, my daughter is the only South Indian. So you just imagine. So what they do is, they emphasize on literature and education. Second is, this is very, very, very important, and which, why you remain poor, why they become rich, is this: ability to adapt. You need to adapt, change with changing situation and circumstances. The more you change, the more likely that you will become more richer. The more likely that you don't change your mindset, the more likely that you may not accumulate wealth, you may not prosper in future to come. And the future generations, if they adopt the same ideology or thought process, they are likely that they will not be successful. And in time to come, it is going to be much more tougher with automation, robotics and artificial intelligence. 40 percentage of the jobs are going to be eliminated by 2030, and maybe even more. If you see the way things are moving, it will be very, very, very tough for our own kids to get into a better jobs. So you have to adapt and change with the changing technology. And even the society keeps on changing. You have to adapt to the changes within the society. If you don't, then you have every chance, every possibility that you may not catch up. And same is with ideas and fashions. So they have to catch up with this. If you don't catch up, you are in all likelihood that you may not grow rich and you may not be prosperous. Same is with your posterity. The struggles poverty is a curse and people have to struggle more. And then again, the choice is with you whether you have to be poor, middle class, or rich. So if you want to be, you have to adapt. Then the third aspect which you find with them is diversity in the skill base. You see, this you just find the same thing with if you check your own friends or relatives or whosoever within your nearby, you find mostly they are into similar professions, engineering, medicine, or teacher. You don't find variations and varieties. There are the economy. India is such a big economy. It needs huge amount of professions. We are, because we tend to think in the old ways, old fashion, which is outdated. And many a time, see, unfortunately in India, the education system is not in sync with the market requirements. Because we don't have that synchrony between education and market requirements, we tend to suffer. Our kids have to suffer extra, they have to struggle a lot. Because being a middle class, having a middle class thought, or being a poor class, having a poor class thought, we tend not to make them to get out of the so-called vicious circle. So in order to do that, you need to have a diversity of skill base. Skill base should be based on the abilities, not being forced. Parents should not force their kid to become an engineer or a doctor or XYZ. They need to allow, they need to understand what their kids, their skills, what they are good at. Then you have to guide. And in any case, even one of my mission area is education and career guidance, that I will take it up. Maybe this series will continue, wealth series, because we all need to do this particular. We are all aspiring people who want to grow rich, accumulate wealth, and ensure that our financial and otherwise social security and self-esteem needs are fulfilled. So then the next common trait which you find throughout, whether it is a Jew, a Brahmin, or Baniya, or Marwadi, all these people, you find them to be, they are prone to migration. They migrate from their roots. Migration. The communities or people who migrate from their roots, they are the ones who will be successful. Not those people who are sticking to their own land will be more successful, because a migrant will come across new people, new things, new ideas, new technologies, new way of outlook. So that makes them, and also understand one thing, migrant is always more skillful compared to the natives, except for those who are too good. They are very exceptional, but generally, yes, migrants are always in any country, right? Maybe in US also, the migrants from poor countries will be definitely better than the native Americans, or native English, or native French. So migration is what is common among all these communities, all these rich people. So you should always encourage your kids, and you yourself should be willing to migrate. Only when you migrate, your outlook keeps changing. Otherwise, you are like a frog in the well. So then comes is the pursuit excellence. What these people do, they are into a particular thing. They go into depth. They try to excel. They try to as Mike, this Microsoft founder, the Bill Gates, said, business is nothing but it's like a running continuously on treadmill. The moment you stop, you are totally out from the business. So you have to keep running, you have to keep changing, you have to keep adapting, you have to keep changing with the changing circumstances. So that happens only when you pursue excellence. And then if you tend to think that just by doing a degree you get a job and then you are happy with your life, then that is the high there is a very high chance that you may not land up in being more successful. So you need to pursue excellence. Those excellence can be anything. You may be good at something, you pursue your hobbies and vigorously you pursue it, don't stop it. If you do that, you will develop a particular skill which others will not have, and that skill will help you to become more wealthier, richer, if you know how to make use of it. Then comes is, they are less religious and superstitious. They may show that they are going to temple, they may show you, selfies, all that stuff, but they are, when it comes to their decision making, religiosity, which I told you, or the superstitions, they never interfere or cloud their cognitive abilities. Cognitive abilities is your ability to think, right? That is clouded because why religion, I have said, is religion clouds your cognition, your independent thinking. The more your cognitive ability is constrained, the lesser likely that you take a right kind of a decision. So you need to understand this. Then you need to take advantage. They generally take advantage of every opportunity. Any opportunity comes, they will immediately take advantage. There is a COVID, then they have accumulated, they understood people need masks, they need this, what is that, medicines, or you see who are the people who got took advantage of that opportunity. You can easily understand. So you need to know when to take advantage at what time. And many a times we tend to say, no, I don't want to take any advantage of anything or anybody. So that's again a, if you tend to be in that particular thought process, definitely you will not be in a position to make more wealth. Then the other thing is superior organizational and networking skills. This is very, very important aspect. They, if you see the way these people network themselves, and they also weave a kind of a web whereby they always are interconnected, they keep exchanging their views, ideas. Many a times they venture into so many businesses. So all these things finally leading to their increase in wealth. And many a times you see, if you see the poor are poorly networked. They may have a network, but that network is not the actual network which will lead to growing. See, if you see that so-called golf clubs or being part of some wealthy club, what do they do? Why do you need that club? That is a place where you tend to interact with people who are rich. So that networking is done in that place, whether it is on a golf race or in say something like a Bhubaneswar club or a Delhi Gymkhana club, all these places, and they give you a lot of opportunities to interact with these people, and then get many a times over the golf course, many business deals happen. So you need to have these kind of networking skills and also organizations. You have to organize yourself, right, in a better way. See, I took this particular session. Right now we have around 5 plus 9, 14 people have enrolled. 14 plus 1, 15 are into it, right? So rest of the people haven't felt it to be a necessity, because they felt, okay, what is there in this? But this is where you tend to learn. The more you network, the more you learn. And second, next is again interrelated. Ability to learn new skills and technologies. You need to understand, if you want to grow rich, do something, you need to adapt new technologies. And again, as computers said, the innovators innovate, and those technologies bring with them something called as a creative destruction. What do? They create a new kind of jobs, new way of thinking, or new technologies, and that will totally eliminate the old order. Like once TV came, radio is totally gone. Once bike came, still cycle is there, but in a different form. But in the past it was only cycles. Now you find motorbikes, cars, and all those things. So with this, this so-called creative destruction will create new jobs, new skills, new opportunities, and those people who adapt to those things, they will be the ones who will take all advantage. And the people who are wedded to the past technologies, past skills, they stand nowhere. That is the reason why the people from rural background, especially the agriculture labor, who migrate, they get into only those jobs which are highly labor intensive, low paid. Whereas people with professional degrees like engineering, chartered accountancy, CMAs, law, or all those people, they are the ones who are in a high paid job. Again, migrants, there is a difference in the migrants. If you are a low skilled labor migrant, your life will remain the same. The only difference is getting adapted to new technologies. And nowadays, education is not giving all the skills which is required. So you as a parents, you need to ensure that your kids are rightly skilled. Right skilling is very important to take on better jobs and better opportunities. And then the another aspect is that they lead, they generally don't follow. Whereas what we do is we tend to follow, we don't lead. So many a times, we may be either a rebel or we tend to follow somebody. So, and one more aspect we need to understand, which I observed in them, is they are an excellent listeners. They are very open to views, open to know what you are talking, what is your idea, what is it, and they are open. They don't, close. They don't say, no, I'm not interested. What is there in this? Whatever you may say, they will listen to it. If it is good, they will take it. If it is a scrap, they will avoid. And for them, what is very important is time. They give respect to time. They are least bothered to do all the bullshitting which we generally tend to do. So then next is they accumulate and grow wealth. They at least distribute. They don't distribute wealth. They accumulate it. Whereas see our if you see most of my own grandparents, at great grandparents, they were once very rich, but what they did is they have donated those wealth. Finally, most of us landed up into a middle class background. So what is important here is you need to accumulate wealth, share your knowledge, not wealth. Remember that. You need to accumulate wealth but share your knowledge. But that does not mean that you should not do any charity. Yes, charity should be done, but with the limitations. Like as I said, Jews do charity only to the only with the 10 percentage of their income. So you tend to learn something good from them and try to adapt and change your way of thinking. Then the second and final, of course, it's not the last, but yes, it's a very important thing. You need to have a polished language and etiquettes so that you are more acceptable, more, in business, it's how you behave that matters a lot. You can't be rude with your customers. The moment you are rude with your customers, you lose the customer, and maybe in time to come, he may not come back to you. So with the what is the asset classes which the Millionaire Club holds in the West? It's not Indian, it's West. The first, these are the classes. They tend to put their money into private equity. Private equity, yeah, Sivaram.
Yeah, I think we can continue. We can stop it here. Maybe from this slide we can continue in the next session.
Yeah, of course, not an issue. Okay, we can close this for today, and then we can have a kind of question and answer sessions.
Yeah, but really, really very nice analysis. A lot of micro analysis done. Be it religion wise, how the religion is related to this. Like it's very different and unique. Not just any just it was not just any plain vanilla this thing, but I can I'm I don't know how much of time and effort you have put into this. I can't even imagine.
No, this is not even 10% of what I had. I had 209 slides, and still more will be added. Yeah, of course. What I do is every day, at least 1 or 2 hours, I keep learning something or the other, and then that is how keeping in touch with all that stuff. And
Suresh, the
these
class
days,
should be not more than 1 hour.
pardon?
This should be not more than 1 hour
हाँ
because 1 hour is sufficient so that आप रखो इस टाइप से कि 8 to 9, ठीक है, एंड धीरे धीरे स्लोली लोग जितना आज लिया तो उसको धीरे धीरे एब्जॉर्ब करेंगे ना. There are so many things I got today, I come to know. Otherwise बहुत सारा चीज तो ऐसे ही चलता रहता है. But thank you very much for this kind of things की तमाम चीजें सामने आई, ऐसा भी कि ये जो कभी पता ही नहीं चला जीवन में.
yeah. Actually, Kripa Bhai, what I believe is 1 hour is too short. 2
हाँ,
hour
बात तो सही है.
ऑप्टिमम. क्योंकि क्या होता है ना,
Once you start तो जब फ्लो बनता है तो that is yes 2 hours.
Yeah, आपने पहले से सुना नहीं है, otherwise we covered a lot.
Yes,
So,
yes.
What I say is, see, these are all deeper things which people don't normally teach. These are all क्या है कि मेरा intuition and then my understanding, all that thing, all that put together. Because see, मेरा क्या है कि I have so many areas in which I did studies or education. So वो सब knowledge जो है multi dimensional approach वाला जो है ये.
Yes, yes.
So it's not that single typical जो बोलते हैं. You see the videos also. You don't find all these things.
Yeah, thank you, Suresh. I really like the basics you got into, the foundational level details. I really liked it. Thank you very much. I appreciate all the effort. One suggestion, if you can, probably if not 1 hour, if you can make it to 1.5, that would be really helpful.
No, actually, see,
Yeah.
2 hours, as I said, na, you want to go into any particular subject, 1 hour is too less. 2 hour is optimum. Actually, see, this entire thing will take, as I said, I had two. Prior to this, I gave two places the same discussion. One in ICWA, this thing, and one within our community. This one. That finally, in that 4-5 hours, I could not complete even 10% or 20% of it, because it's such a vast area. It needs, as I said, I told in the last slide, you have to open. You have to be a good listener. If you are a good listener, number of hours doesn't matter, and then
100%.
you have to,
I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I'm deeply involved for the entire 2-hour stretch.
Yeah.
But weekends I do have some the other commitments.
I
with the
understand.
kids,
I understand.
all that
But
stuff,
again,
that's fine. Yeah.
see, once we start, we cannot keep on fluctuating that times and all. So that is the reason why I put it, another 10 minutes. Okay, another 10 minutes. I'll give you some. So another, you need to. So what is that? I think I lost that particular flow. Anyway, what we can do is say yes, we can keep discussing this. Any other questions related to the subject where you had any specific doubt?
Yeah. Thanks, Suresh.
Welcome. Anybody else? Vinod.
Suresh,
I
would like to add that. Yeah, Suresh.
Yeah.
Is Vinod speaking?
Yes.
Yeah. There's no specific question as such now, but I would like to give my you really did a lot of analysis, very widely covered topic. Okay, so I thought when it is you said it's wealth management, that is a topic of the group. Okay, I thought you will directly nosedive into the topic and then going to the stock market or into other wealth management techniques. But you have, as a introductory kind of thing, you have really covered a lot of social aspects, religious aspects. That means you try to correlate both the wealth and the social factors, the religious factors. Of course, it is very good to understand those things initially. Okay. And for that, you really gave a lot of examples and knowledge from not only from India, but also from world over. So must have done a lot of study for that. When you go into specifically into wealth management kind of thing, maybe the time factors can be decided by that time. But this kind of class or discussion, it is more like for me, it appeared more like a class. And okay, depending on the time, 1.5 hours is fine, 2 hours is fine, 1 hour is also fine. But okay, if there's more to cover, then maybe you can break into two classes. But definitely widely researched and given in a nutshell about this thing, and you have put the topic in the perspective, in the sense that wealth management is why there's a you gave a background. Who are the good wealth managers? What is their background? Is there a necessity of that and things like that? So that way, it is a very interesting topic. Okay. So regarding the timings, we can decide as the time goes. We can maybe finalize on that. So I really appreciate your efforts for this.
Yeah, actually, we just covered, let me tell you, around 25 slides out of 209. So it's around 12% of it. But again, the more you go, it will be more deeper, because this is only we are just scratching the surface. Now we need to dig more deeper. The actual thing will come from the next session onwards. Anybody else? Praveen, Shivram?
I think in between I missed it here and there, but really it's a very good insights. You actually made a very good. I was also just thinking that it will be like a wealth management means what to do. I'm just eager also, but in corner of my mind maybe what exactly. So, but really you made an attention of almost 2.5 hours. Whoever is present, it's an excellent insights which you lay down the foundation, so it gives us a more interesting thoughts to stick to your topic to take it further. I can 100% say that.
Thank you. Ramashrai bhai. Ramashrai.
Thank you, Suresh. I had I think
हिंदी में बोल
almost
सकते हैं, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. हिंदी में बोलिए, कोई
entire
प्रॉब्लम.
time
Yeah.
कह रहे हैं कि मैं करीब पूरा आपका वीडियो देखा और काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है. आपको जो सुटेबल लगता है टाइमिंग इवनिंग का रखें, बस ये है. और काफी इंफॉर्मेटिव है. जब तक डीप में नहीं जाएंगे हम लोग, तब तक नहीं लर्न कर सकते. ऊपर से कुछ होने वाला नहीं है.
Naturally.
तो डीप में जाने के लिए जो भी लगता है उसको करना पड़ेगा. और आपका काफी इंफॉर्मेटिव था, नो डाउट. आई अप्रिशिएट यू. थैंक यू.
Thank you, Ramashrai bhai. Ramesh.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Suresh?
Good evening.
You gave a rich introduction, sir, basics and all. So
Right.
we got to know about a lot of things about wealth management in history and
Yes, Praveen.
yes, sir, and history of the world also. How rich people emerged and all, and basic social equations and all. So as we progress, I think we can you can give more knowledge on mutual funds and all these things that
No,
which will be.
mutual fund is a very big subject. Okay, we will go
Yes, sir.
into it. But yeah, I'm setting the tone. You need,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
कोई भी मूवी का बेस्ट मूवीज We'll always start with
Yes,
background.
sir. Yes, sir.
They cover
We
the
also
background.
require that only, sir. Rather than going directly into the subject,
Yes.
the introduction class on the history of wealth management is also very useful, sir.
Right.
So
Right.
I'll be looking forward for more discussions on the wealth management subject, sir.
Nay, that will be there anyway. This is a series. As
Yes,
I
sir.
said, it will continue. I don't know how many series we will go into, but yeah, this is only the beginning.
Since
We can always have this. We can continue every weekend.
yes, sir. Okay,
Now it is like touching the basics.
okay, sir.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Ramesh.
Suresh, it's like a Bahubali movie
Ah.
taking into the inroads. So actually, what I always teach, never I listen. I
Hmm.
actually thought how much time I can listen to you, but
Hmm.
it passed by. It's
Hmm.
good. Because I'm a teacher, I always teach. I don't listen. You know that.
Right.
But the way you presented, the way the information you gathered, so I felt excellent. So what the introduction you gave. So definitely I'll be attending every week as far as possible. And 2 hours, I think it's okay. So for me, it passed like that only. It's more informative and new words I have learned like demand, supply, adaptability, migration.
Hmm.
So in our regular life, if I can apply, that would be very useful for me. Thank you.
Right. Ramna. 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 Okay. Nagaraju.
Yeah, Suresh, yeah, very nice presentation. Okay, so moreover, in this session, adaptability, that is the major point. The major and entire world has to accept the adaptability.
Right.
Yeah, see, everybody has to be accept that adaptability, or whatever it may be. So whenever we are reaching new technology, that we have to take care. We have to adaptability of the sessions.
Right.
Okay, I know. Yeah, that's a good point. Good session
She.
also.
Yeah. Thank you. She. Who is that she? I don't know. She.
Yeah, it is me, Suresh. It is me, Shaibu actually. Yeah,
What's your name?
Shaibu.
Shaibu. Okay. Huh. Shaibu. Yeah.
I think we had talked, I think, once in on that WhatsApp
Yeah.
group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a wonderful class. Actually, I joined in middle actually. I had some work actually.
Okay.
It was very wonderful. I think it is recorded, right?
Pardon me?
It is recorded, right? This session.
I'm trying to record few things might have missed because basically initial part when I went off that got off. So the later part was there.
Okay, okay.
1 hour 40 minutes got recorded.
Okay, you are sharing the any YouTube or you directly?
I'll be putting shortly into YouTube.
Okay,
I
okay. That
will
is good.
have to see what are those got recorded and what missed. So I need to check it.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Thank you. Really
Maybe
wonderful.
4 or 5 minutes might have missed.
Okay, okay, no problem. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Indu? No, no, I could not hear. Indu, I could not hear you. Unmute, unmute.
Can
Yeah,
you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah. This is an excellent one, but I feel I may miss few sessions due to my duty constraints. So I request you please record it and send it to us.
Yeah, yeah, this will be recorded.
Beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful, beautiful.
thank you. Anybody who got missed? Anyway, no one wants to ask any queries or doubts.
The doubt part will come later stage.
Oh, Sanjay Kaushal hai. Sanjay Babu. Sanjay Baba. Kosi Baba.
भाई सुरेश भाई
हाँ बोलो.
as always you are great है ना and you as you know we all want to go deeper है ना
Right.
so once that conceptual things are cleared and when we get into numbers and other concepts I think it will be more interesting and people will be more eager to know how they want to invest their money है ना
Exactly.
so
Exactly. See.
I think people
Yeah.
will gain a lot by your sessions I'm sure
See,
about that
what
है
I
ना
have covered is
Hmm.
sociology. Then you are a little bit about religion, religiosity,
Yes, yes.
economics,
Yes.
psychology is also covered.
Yes.
Then management is covered.
Uh,
Finances a little bit initially. Yeah,
uh,
it's a multi-dimensional or multi subject, disciplinary approach.
Maybe. Yes, yes, but the eye opener was that when you talked about Jewish people, they did
Yeah.
not do farming. They were engaged in this finance and business and
Yes.
all those things. So you raised a very valid point. Then the migration thing also, that is
No,
also a very
this is same
uh,
even with Brahmins and Baniyas and
yes,
Marwadis
yes,
also. Same thing.
yes,
Say you
yes.
you can correlate both.
Hmm.
They have the similar
Yes.
traits. This
It is
is
a
see
very
this.
nicely researched topic,
Yeah.
Doc. Yes, yes.
So anyway, wish you good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shibu.
No, just telling about regarding this migration.
Yeah.
We'll see later in deep way in the registration, right? Migration.
Yeah. What you are feeling? I think you take paracetamol. You got fever. Go. Huh. Chalo. So should we wrap it up for today?
Yeah, sure.
So after this, what I request is let us start dot at 8 o'clock. Today also we started at around 8:03. So we didn't wait for many people to join. So I wish people start by 8 sharp. We will not, maximum 2-3 minutes here and there. We will start dot at 8, right? So that we can cover more ground and anybody whosoever come late, they will be the ones who will miss it, right? Because everything is a flow. Everything is interconnected. Nothing is separate or unique or discrete. So if you understand everything, you will understand. You will be a better investor. And investment is more about psychology than economics and finances, right? So remember this and focus more on to understanding the deeper insights of it. So that's where the entire things come up. Okay, thank you guys. Let's call it a day.
Thank you. Thank
Anybody who
you.
wants to do chit chatting, yeah, they are welcome. I'm stopping this video recording.